What's up, you guys? Welcome to my YouTube channel. This is your girl B, and today we're going to be talking about soft nurse life or soft nurse jobs, however you guys want to word it. You guys know the trend, so that's why you're here, so we can talk. If you're new here, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe. If you're returning, you guys already know what's up with us. I missed you guys. It's been a while, but your girl is back. So I don't want to do too much rambling because I could talk for days. So let's go ahead and just get straight into it.
You can't fail if you trying. You tried. You're doing it. You putting in the work.
The first job will be a clinic nurse. I have been a clinic nurse before, so I can definitely say this is definitely soft as gonna get, like soft. So let me explain to you some of the things that I personally did. Now, I am from Louisiana, North Louisiana region, just in case anyone's new here and you don't know. And the pay in Louisiana is not the same as it is everywhere else, you guys. Please keep this in mind whenever you're hearing these videos, because the living in Louisiana is way lower. Nurse works 8 to 5. Things we do in the clinic: you do vitals, you update charts, medical history, family history, and you obtain any type of specimens that says urine, blase, things of that nature. Now, I had someone comment last week and they were kind of worried about if they joined nursing, if they had to like deal with males on a more intimate level, such as baths. Y'all, with clinic nurses, you don't have to bathe anyone. You don't have to take anyone to the bathroom. Depending on what kind of clinic you work in, you probably won't even have to deal with blood. The most you might have to do is a Rocephin shot, but it just depends on the kind of clinic that you work in. Keep this in mind. So if you are someone who has to have certain accommodations, or if you just don't want to do certain things, this is definitely something for you to consider. Clinics, they have different type of clinics. I've worked in a lot of different clinics, and if you've watched my videos before, I've listed them. If you're new here, I used to be a float nurse, and so they would send me to different places: vascular, oncology, diabetes, endocrinology, infectious disease control, pediatrics, things of that nature. I have went to a lot of clinics. Every one of them run differently. So with that being said, the most consistent thing was 8 to 5 in vitals. That's what I can say. Now, depending on where you live at, the salary could be different. I looked up these ranges for Louisiana, and for North Louisiana or Louisiana region, the salary was between $43,000 and $54,000. Now, pretty well balanced. I do have a little bit of opposed opinion because I come from the hospital background as well, working 312s. I like that preferably better because I'm a more seasoned nurse. But if you're just trying to avoid certain factors in life, that is good. If you're someone who has kids and you still have to get full-time hours and you're not trying to be stressed because you still want to save your energy for home, that is perfect. Do you hear me? A clinic nurse is perfect, and it is extremely low stress. Let me say this one more time for the girls in the back. It's extremely low stress. I cannot express that. Extremely low stress. Okay, so if that's what you're interested in, I would definitely say clinic nurse is a soft nurse. The second thing that I have, and I wrote down notes, y'all, so if y'all see me looking down, that's why. Now, this I have never done, but the second position for a soft nurse job would be a med spa nurse. Now, I had to look this information up because that's something I would be interested in if the pay was worth it. Now, let me say, in the state of Louisiana, LPNs can give Botox injections if they have proper training. Okay, I looked up the scope of practice just to see if anything changes, and if you're LPN in Louisiana or in your state, just look up your scope of practice just to make sure you're not doing something you're not supposed to. Sometimes we can be nurses for so long and things change. So LPNs can give Botox injections. You just have to have proper training and to get approved. So typically, depending on the clinic, the hours could range, but I'm just go ahead and give you the generic 8 to 5. But remember, that could change depending on what kind of clinic you work for. Of course, they do Botox of course, as a med spa, they offer different services, but I just really wanted to emphasize the beauty part of it because, you know, Botox injections has been a thing in the last 3 years. So I just wanted to give anybody who was interested in it as an LPN the opportunity to know you can be that soft Botox girl if you want to. You can work in a med spa, you just have to have the credentials. Of course, medical history, set up procedures, vitals, and etc. Now, I had to look up the salary because I seen an advertisement one time, y'all, and the pay was not for LPN was not making sense. You could go work in a school if that's the case. But the salary range is between $40,000 to $59,000. I guess it depends on your experience. That's as an LPN. None of these are RN rates. I want to clarify this right now. I don't know what an RN will make. I'm pretty sure way more. To me, anything in the beauty industry would always be a great work-life balance. Comment down below. Tell me what you think. If you work in a med spa, please comment down below, because the girls need the tea. I need the tea. Now, would I be doing that unless the pay is making sense? Then no, I wouldn't. But we want to know, okay? Let us know. Let us know. Like I said, what I'm giving you guys for the med spa nurse, it was just looked up. I don't want to get here and say, oh, I did this. I did not do it. I had to look that information up to give you guys. The third thing would be an admissions nurse. Now, this was something I didn't even freaking know about. Did y'all know that there was a such thing as an admissions nurse? I never heard of an admissions nurse until recently. So, because the opportunity occurred, an admission nurse is someone who basically will still work at 8 to 5, or their hours could change depending on the facility, whether they're full-time or part-time. I believe it more so depends on the fluctuations of intake patients. Now, from my understanding, when I was doing my research, I'm gonna say it like that because you just never know who watches your videos, they put in the new admits, lab orders, obviously, medications, history, contact information, just their general demographics of who the patient is and their history. Now, whenever new orders come in from the doctor or the NP, they put those in too, so that saves the nurses time and opportunity. If I'm talking with my hands and y'all don't like it, I'm sorry. So I do want to say that I never heard of that, and so when that opportunity was presented, I was quite shocked that they even had something called admissions nurses, because where I'm from, we don't do that. The ADONs do all of that. So I thought that was pretty cool. That was pretty neat. Obviously, that's low stress because it's basically a data entry job. There is no patient interaction, no patient contact. You just literally enter in data. Now, like I said, that can either be a full-time or a part-time, and the salary between that was $44,000 to $56,000. That's the salary prediction for that. So I wanted to give that to you. Obviously, that would be low stress if you're just dealing with data and you're not dealing with patients, you're not dealing with families. Obviously, the work-life balance must be great over there. So the fourth thing will be care plan nurse. Now, this I have done before, and this is what I'm getting back into. It can be either 8 to 5 or 8 to 2. When I go into it this time around, it's going to be 8 to 2:30. And now those times depend on your facility, because it could always change. If you get there early, obviously you will leave earlier. Now, you just basically update patient chart information. So if that patient has a significant change, or let's say they're going from a regular patient to a hospice patient, or they have multiple falls, things of that nature, you're just updating that chart just to make sure that it meets state regulations and guidelines. So when state comes, you guys are up to code. It's kind of like the history of the patient, a little more in depth, okay? So that changes. And the reason why I feel like you have to be there a little more full-time compared to like some places will be, it just depends on, first, the size of the facility that you're working at, and secondly, if you have medication. Y'all know in nursing, medication changes all the time, okay? You can have someone who's on one med this day, tomorrow, the next day, they're on another psychotropic med. So with that being said, that is something that you have to update on care plans. So I just wanted to kind of give you guys that gist. And that is a well-balanced diet. Okay, when I did that before, I was kind of, I'm gonna be telling y'all the truth, I was bored, okay? Because there's no patient interaction as far as like hands-on care. And I'm just so used to being so on the go, you know? And if you're that kind of nurse, you probably wouldn't like it, but I have a lot of things going on right now, and I kind of need to sit down, okay? I don't want to go too far into it. If you guys watched my last video, you already know what's going, well, not my last video, but like my first video when I came back, my nurse update behind the scenes. You guys know what I got going on in my life right now, so I need something calm, cool, and collect. So that is absolutely, it can be a mid to low stress. I think that just depends on the facility, because they can add more things onto your task every day outside of baseline care plans. You do have to call families and have meetings with the families, but it's not like it's a every month, every day, every week type of situation. So that is a good I would say mid to low stress job, and it's a well balanced job between work and a personal life, because that's when I was the most consistent with my content. So y'all will be seeing me more often. With that being said, the salary is between $56,000 to $64,000 for Louisiana, and that is definitely, listen to me, a soft nurse job. The fifth thing would be a MDS nurse. Now let me just say this: care plan nurses and MDS nurses, they work hand in hand, and MDS nurses, if you ask me, and this is just B's opinion, okay, I think the MDS nurses is the blood that flows the money through the facility, because they have such a stressor on deadlines and time frames and documentation. So if you ask me, I would say a care plan, or not a care plan, but an MDS nurse would be like a moderate stress. Like, it's not like stress, but it's not like no stress. Does that make sense? Because if you don't have certain things turned in and done by a certain time, oh baby, you gotta listen to the big boss, and nobody wants to go there. So with that being said, that is a cool job if you don't want to have to be on the floor, if you don't want patient interaction, and if you still want to have like a sense of responsibility to a higher degree. They deal with a lot of deadlines, and if you're like an administrative person or a data entry person or a real stickler to deadlines, and you don't forget nothing, or you can have it, baby, you can do it. But if you like me and my mind be running all over the place sometimes, that might not be your cake of tea. That might not be your cakewalk. Okay. Now they deal a lot of hands-on with insurance companies. I do want to say that, because you have to know a lot of background information. Now the salary for them is between $63,000 to $72,000 as the LPN in Louisiana. I want to say this, because I want to give y'all the tea. If you want to be an MDS nurse, MDS nurses get bonuses. No one told me this. As a floor nurse, I wouldn't have known this, but as an executive nurse, I'm gonna tell y'all, they get bonuses. Okay, so if that's the base salary and not the bonus included, do the math. Okay, yeah, just let your mind wander. And their bonus isn't $500-$600, it's thousands. Just want to throw that out there. So I think that's a mid work-life balance. I don't think that sometimes you might have to take some work home. Sometimes you might have an off day and you might have to be on a conference call or a Zoom call, and you can't avoid that, unfortunately. And if you miss a day of work, well, that's in nursing in general. If you miss a day of work, if you're an executive nurse, it's going to be crazy when you go back to work. But I just want to give you guys that those are my 5 soft nurse jobs. If you agree or disagree, let's have a conversation down below and discuss, why do you feel the way you feel? If you have experience in any of those fields, please comment down below. I want to know y'all opinion. I want to know what y'all got to say about it. I love to interact with you guys. I love to talk with you guys, and I love my community that I'm building here. So with that being said, y'all, those are my 5 soft nurse jobs that I would consider are decent for the amount of work that they do. So with that being said, that will wrap up today's video. I hope you guys enjoyed. If you want more content or if you have more questions, comment down below so that way we can open up the next topic. In the meantime, you guys stay safe, stay beautiful, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye.